Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're digging into the 2011 film The Help. It's a powerful story about what happens when people who have been silenced for generations finally decide to speak their truth. Let's just start with a line that captures the absolute heart of this entire story. It's a simple phrase, right? Aibileen, a black maid, says this every single day to the little white girls she's raising. But in the world they live in, 1960s Mississippi, saying these words is a quiet but powerful act of rebellion. So, to really get why this story is so incredible, we have to understand the world it came from. This isn't just some historical backdrop. The setting itself is a major character, just bubbling with tension and danger. I want you to picture a town where everyone knows their place, and not by choice, but by force. The lines are drawn, literally, in black and white. And if you even think about crossing them, well, the consequences are devastating. It's a world simmering with resentment, all hidden just underneath a thin layer of Southern politeness. The whole story really ignites when these four women collide. You've got Skeeter, fresh out of college and realizing she doesn't fit in anymore. There's Aibileen, the quiet, wise heart of the community. Then you have Minnie, who is just incapable of keeping quiet. And finally, Hilly, the town's cruel queen bee who makes sure everyone stays in line. They each give us a different window into this deeply divided world. And a seemingly small issue, bathrooms, becomes this perfect, ugly symbol for the racism at the heart of everything. Hilly's little campaign isn't really about hygiene. Of course not. It's all about power. It's about reinforcing this cruel idea that the very women who cook their food and raise their children are somehow unclean. So, it's inside this oppressive, suffocating world that a really risky, almost unthinkable idea starts to take shape. An idea that could completely shatter the town's fragile, unjust peace. This is the question that gets stuck in Skeeter Phelan's head. She wants to write a book from the maid's point of view to give a voice to the voiceless. But trying to get anyone to actually talk to her, it's a massive challenge. The real question wasn't just if they should speak, but what would happen to them and to their families if they actually did. And let's be clear, this wasn't just about sharing a few stories for a book. For these women, it was a full-blown act of rebellion with real life and death consequences. Every single word they shared was a massive gamble with their jobs, their safety, and their families. But even with all that danger, Aibileen makes the choice. She's still grieving the loss of her own son, who died because of the cruel realities of segregation, and she decides she's got nothing left to lose. Her courage provides that first, crucial spark needed to light a fire. Aibileen's one single act of courage starts a chain reaction. It's like the dam breaks, and suddenly all these shocking, hidden truths from inside Jackson's homes start pouring out into the light. And the stories, wow, they just pour out. They reveal this deep, painful hypocrisy. These women are trusted to love and raise the children, to cook every meal, to run the entire household, but they aren't even trusted to use the same bathroom. They are the invisible glue holding these families together, yet they're treated like they're less than human. As more stories came in, the women knew they needed some kind of protection, an insurance policy. If their names ever got out, they could be ruined, or worse. So they decided to include one story so scandalous and so specific to one person that it would protect everyone.
And this is where the movie just brilliantly mixes these high-stakes, terrifying moments with some really dark, satisfying humor. Minnie's story about a special chocolate pie she baked for Hilly becomes the ultimate insurance. See, Hilly might suspect the book is about her town, but she would do anything to make people believe that one particular story isn't true, which, in a genius move, protects all the other women.
Okay, so the stories are all collected, the insurance policy is baked right in, literally. And now comes the most dangerous part, actually publishing the book and waiting for the town's reaction. And when the book comes out, it creates this incredible ripple effect. It's the town's biggest open secret. Everyone's reading it, everyone's talking about it, but no one wants to admit that it's about them. It forces the entire community to look in the mirror, and most of them do not like what they see. Now, in a final, cruel act of revenge, Hilly manipulates things to get Aibileen fired. But here's the thing. The power has shifted. Even though Aibileen loses her job, she has found her voice. She's reclaimed her freedom. She walks away from that house not as a victim, but as a writer, on her own terms. So after everything, what's the lasting impact of all this?
for the characters and for us watching. What did this incredibly dangerous act of telling the truth actually accomplish? Look, the book didn't just magically end racism in Mississippi, of course not. But it did something maybe even more profound on a personal level. It completely transformed the lives of the women who wrote it. It shattered their isolation, gave them a voice, and handed them back a sense of dignity and self-respect that had been denied for so long. And in the real world, the film itself was a huge success. The acting was just universally praised, with Octavia Spencer winning an Oscar for playing Minnie. But it also sparked some really important debates. People started asking if the story, told through a white writer's perspective, might have simplified the true harshness of the era for Black women. It's a conversation that's still worth having.
And that's really the big takeaway here, isn't it? The Help is more than just a story about the 1960s. It's a timeless reminder that our stories have power, real power. They can heal, they can challenge injustice, and sometimes they can even change the world, one brave voice at a time.